WrestleMania. Charlotte with a kick. Charlotte Flair is going.
Hey, guys, we're here at the Pink Square Circle. We'll talk about WWE Women's Royal Rumble 2025 review. We'll go over a quick recap of everything that happened involving the women at the Royal Rumble 2025. Let's check it out here. This will be me and Figure 4 TV, and we will break it down. Let's get the likes of as we come in. Also known as the Red Carpet Ring. How you feeling, my guy?
I'm good, man. Just coming off the Royal Rumble. Solid Royal Rumble, just some things we gonna get into. We gonna talk about it. I'm gonna save it, but yeah, we are officially at the road to WrestleMania. We have Elimination Chamber less than a month, and of course, the show of all shows will be April 19th and 20 in Las Vegas. WrestleMania 41, night 1 and night 2.
So overall, now, what do you give the show? Because I have it as a good show. It's not a bad show. To me, this wasn't a bad show at all. And I mean, and you have to be a greedy fan to want anything more. It was weird, but it wasn't a bad show. What do you give it?
I give it a 4 out of 5. And the reason I do that, like you said, with the greedy part, we did just have Saturday night's main event. What was that? A week ago? Not a week. Last Saturday, to be exact, I think it was a week ago.
About a week ago.
And that was a very good show. So we literally got 2 good TV special or PLEs in 2 weeks in a row. So I did not expect nothing more. I was actually like how it turned out. So some things I was concerned about, but as a whole, outside of the Rumble matches, the tag team title and the WWE ladder match were great matches.
All right. So now, for those of you that might have missed it, I'm gonna just throw some highlights up here as we talk and chat for this evening, so you guys can catch up on some highlights. But first thing I want to talk about, guys, is the Women's Royal Rumble. That's the first thing I want to speak about. The Women's Royal Rumble. Now, in my brutally honest opinion, I think this was a clusterfuck of stars. Now, we had stars mixed in with wrestlers, and we didn't really know what we wanted to do with them. What's your take? What's your overall take on the Women's Royal Rumble?
I'm not even going to hold you. This was not that much better orchestrated than the Women's War Games. It was like part 2 of the War Games. You saw how that was ran? If you guys
I agree.
It was kind of like a continuation of the War Games. And I'm like, why they can't? And I think the problem that WWE is having, I'm seeing it, it's a case of too many women on one roster. I think we got too many women. And I think that's why this stuff is going the way it's going. When we had less women, we didn't have all these problems. It was actually a lot more smoother. It's too many women on the roster. Because if you look at that Royal Rumble, we had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 women from the NXT brand. So that lets you know that the future is really coming into play with the women of NXT, and the women that are the veterans, they need to be phased out, whether people like it or not.
Now, my thing with the women too is there was no storylines going into the Women's Royal Rumble. The biggest storyline going into the Women's Royal Rumble was Roxanne and Bayley. The biggest storyline played out on TV was Roxanne and Bayley. Then you had the whole Chelsea and Piper Niven's thing going on. But other than that, it was no main story to give us. That's why I think the Women's Royal Rumble played out the way it played out.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean.
The only other story you had besides that was the comeback of Charlotte Flair that we all knew. We knew she was coming back. That's all you had was the comeback.
Right, but then you negate that when you bring Alexa Bliss back too. See, and that's where they needed to space out the returns. They needed to space out these returns right here. Alexa came back to the Rumble, and she had a bigger pop. She had one of the biggest pops I ever heard. And then Charlotte came back, and it overpowered Alexa come back. So that was it was a cluster. It was cluster. Now, what are some surprises? Like, what are some surprises you would say? What's some things that surprised you about the women's Royal Rumble?
I didn't expect Roxanne Perez to be. I knew she'd be in there for a minute, but I didn't think she'd be the runner-up to Royal Rumble, considering the fact she's still in the NXT brand. That's the first, and the record of longest ever in the women's Royal Rumble match. She set the record. I didn't expect all that to happen. I knew she would do a thing, but not like that. And I like Roxanne, so she really is getting, hanging in there. She's really doing her thing.
Absolutely. Now, what else about now we got to highlight something, and this has been a thorn in my side, and I know we all love her. She's a heavy fan favorite, but this woman needs some work, and I'm talking about Naomi. I'm not high on Naomi's performance, and I like her. That's why I watch her and I pay attention. But did you see the botch? Did you see when Chelsea got eliminated by Piper, how the non hits, like she was air punching Chelsea, and looking back, like it was no sound. It just was unbelievable. And she gives away the little kick trick, the little slap leg kick to make the sound. She gives that away because her movement is so slow.
Yeah, like what the Young Bucks be doing. Basically what the Young Bucks
Yes. She gives that away. Like, she needs to go back to the basics. And I love her to death, but she needs to go back to the basics. WWE did a good job of covering her up until this point, but now that them NXT girls is coming up fast and furious, she's not looking good next to them NXT girls. None of them NXT girls move like how Naomi moved.
Nope, not at all.
So we definitely needed to mention that. We definitely needed to bring some attention to that, because I mean, I like Naomi. Don't get me wrong. I like the way she look, and I like her. I like her spirit and all of that. But she's mid in that ring. She is mid.
Yeah, I agree. And it ain't just this performance here. It happened at the Women's War Games too. She's like out of breath, in the corner. I don't understand that either.
Facts. Now, next thing, if we didn't find out Jade's attacker at this Royal Rumble, we are gonna lose interest. We need, by the end of February, if we don't know about this Jade Cargill storyline, these loose ends don't tie in by the end of February, we finna lose interest of Jade Cargill and that whole storyline to begin with, and you can send her ass right on back to AEW because we ain't gonna care. We got Grace coming. We seen Roxanne put out last night. We seen everything. We seen Giulia. Miss Parker. So at this point, we can care less about Jade Cargill. So now it seems like she was more hurt than what they put on. She really was hurt. It wasn't just a nagging injury, because we all thought and assumed that, all right, they stopped using her at the U.S. title tournament and the Queen of the Ring, because they're gonna save her so that she could heal and be back for the Royal Rumble. She did not come back at the Royal Rumble, so then that leads to believe this lady is hurt. There's something wrong with this lady.
Yeah, I agree. It's just too many women on the roster and more coming in now. The women NXT definitely put out. I definitely liked how they did that. Io did her thing. She was in there for a minute. I think Io was number 1, and Liv was number 2. So it's just too many women on the roster now. It's just Jay. We gonna forget about Jay. Unfortunately, we are gonna forget about her if we haven't already. And people already was giving her crap for her being green in the ring. Then we got Charlotte back. Becky about to come back. Alexa's black now. I mean, that's 3 women right there. So it's
Now,
not good.
go ahead.
It's not good at all. It's just not a good look for her.
It's not, and I'm glad you mentioned that because that'll segue into Becky. Where the hell is Becky at? Can we get an APP on Becky Lynch?
Now she signed a new contract. Now she hasn't been in Raw on Netflix. She went there. We expect she wasn't at Saturday Night's Main Event. She wasn't there either in this Royal Rumble. That's three events she wasn't there in the past month. What's up?
Absolutely, man. I don't know, but those were some of the things that we got to talk about. We would be wrong if we didn't mention those things right there, because those definitely stood out. But going back to the Nia Jax ultimate elimination of all of those women, you want to break down why they did that like that? Why did they do that like that?
They did that because they wanted to rush time. That you could tell that they was out of time. You could tell that was going on, and unfortunately, I believe that when they did that, too many women were eliminated once. Now, if you was gonna sell Nia to win, that would have worked. I just knew something was up. I was like, why is Nia eliminating all these people out of nowhere? What's going on? And now hindsight 2020, we do know that they was on time. That's why Alexa Bliss also was eliminated real quick by Liv Morgan, if you ain't noticed. She wasn't there long.
That's fact.
And that's the second half of the Women's Royal Rumble. For people that didn't notice, the second half is when they start to rush things, because when Alexa Bliss came back, when she had her pop and everything, which she had a great pop of the night until Charlotte Flair showed up, obviously. Alexa Bliss had arrived at the Women's Royal Rumble. She came at a good number, I want to say 21, and that's pretty much a little after the halfway point. But I know after Jordan came in at 19 and Michin, we saw a lot of eliminations, and then we saw Nia again, the elimination. Because if you look at the list of the women, a lot of women didn't have no eliminations. Nia took it all, so they was trying to rush to get everything going, just rush it, and that was just crazy.
And I got a different perspective on that part right there. I just think that just show a lack of writing ability. That right there shows and exposes Triple H a little bit, because he didn't have no way to write this in. He didn't have no way to write all of the stars that he had. Because now when you put all of the stars in there like the way he did, you got to creatively write how you going to get this star eliminated. So the best way when you and he used this blueprint with the men's elimination. That's why I had said in our prediction video that I didn't think it was going to be any of our favorites, because you can't just pick one to give it to. So when you get all of them stars in there, you got to find a way to eliminate all of them creatively, and that's the most creative way you can write how to eliminate those stars. And that was, you just have Nia eliminate all of them because you had nothing. I mean, that's lazy writing. It's lazy writing. You didn't want to write, and you didn't want to sit there and write out each individual elimination for all of them women. So you just have Nia knock all of them women over out of the ring like that. That's my perspective. It wasn't even about time. Yes, they saved time doing it that way, but I don't think they were oppressed for time. I think it was more of they lacked creativity.
Well, that's what I was saying before. It's a thing of not having enough and then having too much, and that's what he's going on right now. It's too many women on the roster. That's exactly what I mean. It's too many women on the roster.
Absolutely. We are building women stars faster than we have enough TV time to display these women, and that's what's happening. Right, yeah. Absolutely right.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, the women is just, I think WWE can't keep up. Now they proposed a all women's show of almost 2 years ago. They probably need to revisit that, because you got a lot of women now. What you gonna do with them? Because a lot of women from NXT is going to get called up. You got Roxanne called up. You got Lash and Jakara. You got it's getting heavier in the women's division.
You ain't never lied, man. So let's move it right on.
All right, that's all we have for WWE Women's Royal Rumble 2025 review. Quick recap of the PLE involving the Women's Royal Rumble match. You guys let me know what you think of that. What's your honest review? Did you like how it was done or not done? Do you agree with the winner? Soon to reveal some pop-up, guys. You guys click the links below. Until then, I will see you guys later.